Most beginners are told to play the French defense because it is solid. But what actually happens? The center locks up, you run out of space, your pieces get tangled, and you get slowly suffocated to death. The French defense is not a passive wall to hide behind. It is a coiled spring. Today, we are conducting a complete structural audit to show you the Jailbreak Protocol, the exact plans you need to escape the squeeze.
Okay, so let's get right into it. This is the heart of the problem, isn't it? The reason so many of us just give up on the French. It's this feeling of being crushed. You know the one. White plays e4, you go e6, and just a few moves later, boom, the center is totally locked. Suddenly, it feels like you have no plans at all. Your opponent's got all this room, their pieces are dancing around the board, and you, well, you're just stuck, tangled up, waiting for the end. That's not a strategy, my friend. That's a misunderstanding of the entire opening.
So the very first thing we have to do in this audit is completely flip our perspective. We have to perform a total paradigm shift. Forget the idea that the French is a passive wall you're meant to hide behind. That's just not what it is. The reality? It's a coiled spring. You are choosing to absorb pressure, to build this incredibly solid core so that at the perfect moment you can release all that stored up energy in a devastating counterattack. The tension, that's the whole point.
And that leads us straight into our first major concept for the protocol, the bunker. And this is a big one. If you're going to play the French, you have to be willing to accept the squeeze. You have to embrace it.
And listen to the language here because it's important. This is a strategic choice. You are not making a mistake. This isn't a bad position you've stumbled into. You are intentionally building a fortress. Yeah, it's going to feel a little cramped, but you know what? It's also rock solid. While white is pushing pawns and grabbing space, they're often overextending and creating weaknesses. Your bunker is designed to just weather that early storm while you prepare the perfect counterpunch.
Let's be really clinical about this, okay? Like we're auditors looking at the facts. Fact, the center is closed. Fact, white has more space. Fact, you are cramped. You have to acknowledge these truths. You have to internalize them because, and this is the absolute key, this is the plan. You're not failing, you're following the blueprint. Fast sweeping attacks right out of the opening? That's not the goal. And notice the most important word on this slide, yet. Patience is your #1 weapon here.
Okay, so you've bought into the bunker mentality. You're ready to be patient. Fantastic. But every fortress, no matter how strong, has a potential weak point inside. And that brings us to concept 2. We've got to identify and deal with the prisoner.
I want you to really think about this for a second. In that tight lockdown structure, with your pawns sitting on d5 and e6, which one of your pieces is just, staring at the back of its own pawns, totally useless, with nowhere to go?
And there it is. The answer is your light-squared bishop. We call it the prisoner because that's exactly what it is, locked behind a wall of its own soldiers. A strong player knows that as long as this bishop is stuck, you are effectively playing a piece down. And make no mistake, if you just leave it sitting there, that is a one-way ticket to getting slowly and painfully crushed. You have to have a plan for it.
So what do we do about it? Well, here's the official prisoner protocol. You've got 2 main options, and you need to have them in your back pocket for every game. Option 1, trade it. If you can swap your bad bishop for one of white's good active pieces, like a knight on f3 or their own light-squared bishop, that is a huge strategic win. Option 2, reroute it. This usually means playing a move like b6, so you can develop the bishop out to b7 on the long diagonal, where it can finally breathe and get into the game. The main point is, you can't just ignore it, ever.
Okay, so we've built our bunker, we've got a plan for our prisoner, but so far this is all just defense, right? Now it's time for the fun part. Now it's time to release that coiled spring. It's time for concept 3, the jailbreak.
And here it is. This one move, if you take nothing else away from this whole audit today, remember this, the single most important, non-negotiable, absolutely critical move in the entire French defense, the pawn break, c5. This is your key, this is your escape plan, this is the entire reason you accepted that cramped position to begin with.
Look at this quote. I want you to read it, and then I want you to burn it into your chess brain. This is the gospel truth of this opening. Without the c5 pawn break, your bunker just becomes a tomb. You're not defending anymore, you're just waiting to lose. This move is not an option, it's mandatory. It is the whole point.
So why? What makes this little pawn move so ridiculously powerful? Well, let's break it down. First, and this is huge, it attacks the base of white's pawn chain on d4. You're not hitting the front pawn, you're kicking out the very foundation. This single move shatters all that central tension. It immediately challenges white's space advantage and, so importantly, it cracks open the c-file for your rooks to jump in and take control. That is the moment the spring uncoils.
All right, let's pull all of this together. Let's create our final blueprint, the simple, actionable plan you can take into every single French defense game from now on.
And honestly, it really is this simple. 3 steps. That's your jailbreak protocol. Step 1, build the bunker. Embrace that cramped, solid position. Know that it's part of the plan. Step 2, manage the prisoner. Always be aware of your bad light-squared bishop and have a clear idea of how you're going to trade it or reroute it. And step 3, the big one, execute the jailbreak. When the time is right, you must strike the center with c5 and blow the game wide open.
So the big takeaway today is this. From now on, when you play 1e6, I want you to remember this quote. You are not building a wall to hide behind. You are sharpening a weapon, one that's designed for a very precise and powerful counterattack.
That is the blueprint. Trust the structure you are building. Know the 3-step plan we've audited today, and when the time is right, do not hesitate. Execute the jailbreak. Thanks for watching, and be sure to subscribe for the next Penzance audit.